Hi, I'm Richie Mackay.
And I'm Davey Bolt, and you are listening to the Wrong Bias Podcast.
And on show 43, we discussed the Bowls England National Championships. We briefly touch on some Channel 4 exposure for the sport. We ask the question, will the state of the outdoor greens drive more bowlers to play indoors all year round? Plus, the rickshaw's been out and we've been out on the road covering the PBA qualifiers. As always, thanks to our sponsors XX20 and Lean to Succeed. And welcome everybody to another Wrong Bias podcast. It's show number 43. Start again. Cut. Right. And welcome everybody to another Wrong Bias podcast. It is our 43rd podcast, and the official wedding anniversary gemstone is the opal. So opal fruits all around, mate. It's only thing I can think of. The modern gift, well, that theme apparently is travel.
Opal fruits and holiday. Happy days.
Yeah, are we there yet? Anyway, we have been out and about. We've been covering the PBAs, which we're going to review later in the show. A quick update on your foot, mate. Because did you do your foot in our last one? I think we did, didn't we? Because there's casualty music.
I'm sure you I think you put the picture on it all, didn't you?
You did, yes.
It's a good job, because I've never mentioned it. Like I never talk about it.
No, I never mentioned it once on that stream, and that we did.
I'm a bit like Uncle Albert. I never ever talk about the war.
Never talk about it. Keep it quiet. Anyway, it's our first indoor podcast of the season. A quick look back on the outdoor would be your old club Silks with Pumas, mate, winning the double fours. You've been delighted?
Amazing. Amazing for the lads. Really, really happy for them. Obviously, bit of double-edged sword for me. I'd have loved to have been involved. I had to drop out before the last 16, I think.
That was the last 16 against Nafferton, wasn't it?
Nafferton, I think, yeah. So brilliant. I mean, quite a young team, really. Got a lot of young lads in the team, and a lot of them really stepped up. I mean, the whole team played well. And one of those years, they won the last 4 games, literally on the last ball of every game. One shot in every game.
I think it's quite remarkable. I don't think there'll be any other one who'll have done that. Won the last 4 rounds by a combined total of 4 shots, mate.
It's what we talk a lot. People say it's quality of the bowler should always win the game, but sometimes you got to have that little bit of luck and all, and sort of God was smiling with the lads this year to get over the line. But
mind you, a little bird told us that your game management book might have went up in flames there that last end in the final. I could hear you whipping through that pages.
Well, obviously, I mean, I did the wrong thing straight away, didn't I? I went, with the 4 up, just got to control this now. Ball for ball. Shelling them all out of the way.
I bet you were saying, have you not read page 52?
I was saying, they'll get it with this one. 8 times I said they'll get it with this one, and then luckily they missed the big one on the. There was quite a big draw to take it to a tie break, and sorry, not a tie break, take it to a extra end, and unusually, I'll not mention his name, but I would have put my house on him playing the ball and pulled up short, and like I say, I think God was smiling for the lads this year.
That was great. It's great for North East bowls. Definitely was tremendous, mate. And I did tip you after you turned us over in the rain. Which, by the way, wasn't by 1. I think it was by about 21.
I remember that day well. Me top was about 3 stone heavier because I didn't have a jacket.
It absolutely bounced
it down, didn't it? We played the trial ends, dry as a bone, first ball. Absolutely bounced.
Rock. For those interested in Mr. Bolt's blog, he's got another blog coming out. He touches a little bit on the live streaming and the issues that bowls have with live streaming, i.e. missing the key moment, For me, the live stream is catch-22. You stream it, and you don't get your spectators through the door. But if you don't stream, then you're criticised for not giving the sport exposure, mate, aren't you, really?
Yeah, you're accommodating to markets, aren't you? There's a lot of people who like to be there and watch the live balls itself. There's other people who like to just sit in the house and watch it. And for all it doesn't look great on the stream or on TV, whatever that might be, as long as you've got all of the people sitting back in the house and watching the balls at the same time, then it's that catch-22, like you say, isn't it? Nobody's missing out on anything, and the sport's not losing out in any way. It just doesn't look popular when you're watching it on the stream, that's all. But what was it, over 40,000 views we had on the stream?
We kicked on 40K views for the PBA 2 days that we've done, which is...
you ain't going to get those through the door, are you?
I mean, well, no, you're not. I mean, we do acknowledge that a view on Facebook and what have you is somebody could have just watched it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, score update and gone out and done something else and came back later on. That class as a view on Facebook. Now, whether them figures are really a true comparison, but you can see how many people are actually watching it live at the time. And I think we kicked on over to 200 at one point, and that was without what we had on YouTube. So all good, mate, all good. Right, mate, here we go. Outdoor season over and done with. Boards England national finals went off without a hitch. Unfortunately, the passing of the Queen did disrupt a couple of the latter stages, which was unfortunate for the competitors at the time, because I think some of the competitions were reduced to 15 ends. But overall, from looking from afar, it seems as if it went all right. But as always, it seems as if there's been a few problems or people have raised a few issues. Boards International are asking for feedback on 5 things there was: live stream and coverage, frequency of the live score, a number of qualifiers, admission fee and atmosphere. If we go through them, because there's other bits for Boards England which I won't go through anyway. The live streaming, $2,000 a day, we already know. It is what it is, mate, isn't it? Who's going to pay for you? Your national finals go on for, what, did they go on for something like 20 odd days? So you're looking at $40,000 if you were streaming every day. Whereas you've got to find that money from somewhere. The frequency of the live scoring, yes, I think it could be better, but you can only do with the number of volunteers that you've got. Bit of a delay in getting the scores through. It is what it is with the volunteers that they've got. My biggest one is probably going to be the number of qualifiers. I still say it should go back to 2 each county instead of the 1 each county. That's my own personal.
I don't know if that's reverting back now the Commonwealth Games is finished. I haven't really looked into that side of things.
Well, it was only supposed to be there for it was COVID and then the Commonwealth Games, wasn't it? Where they cut the qualifiers in half.
Yeah.
And brought it down to something from 30 days. Bigger counties like Kent, where they've got probably more entries in 3 counties put together, give them an extra qualifier. Problem with that.
I do too, because I do think it encourages more people to come down and it gives more people the experience. But you know my opinion of the 2 qualifiers. Got to get to a point where your winners of your counties are two rounds ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I quite agree. But I mean, it was a valid point. We've discussed it we'll probably discuss it in a couple of podcasts before, and I quite agree, mate. You shouldn't have a county champion, but then again, a lot of the counties, as we've seen, don't play the county finals till after Leamington. So then you probably going to have to delegate. Right, you're going to be A, you're going to be B, and that's the way it is, whether you win your county final or not. So the admission fee, £4. I'm led to believe it was £4, £1 for under 21s. It went up to £5 or something for weekends. When it was at Worthing, all the money went to the council, so the sport saw nothing of it. Leamington, it's been ploughed back into the game, i.e. you get a bit streaming, higher stands and what have you. Me, personally, I would say £2. £2 for the day and a quid half a day. That's just me being tight, I think.
Whether you reduce that down by half and is half as many going to come through the gates, or is it is what it is and people just aren't coming down to the finals for whatever reason. I mean, I thought the attendance was pretty good, considering the Commonwealth Games had just been on, and the Commonwealth Games was really well supported and the stands always looked to be really busy. I just look at 2-3 years ago, and I think there's been massive progress made with regards the offering of what's there. There's still improvements needed and there's still a lot more could be done. But at least it's going in the right direction. It's not going backwards.
Yeah.
Personally, think we need a better offering in the tent, and I think everything should be directed through the tent. So you can't walk round the side of it. You literally, as you come through the entrance, you should literally have no other place to go through the tent, which then will assist any retailers who want to pay the money to be in there. So at least they know they're going to get traffic.
Footfall.
Having a look at the kit. Yeah. I think there was only one retailer there this year, which isn't great because it's nice because it's a convenience for somebody if they want anything. But I think you need 2 or 3 in there to create a little bit of competition so you can try and get a nice bargain, whatever.
I think Worthing used to have 4 or 5, didn't they? Used to be
did, I
did. A few good number down there.
Did, and I don't know why. Again, cost comes into it. I've got no doubt. I remember when I had the shop, there was a certain cost that you had to have to put a pitch up in there, and it was a bit of money to recoup before you'd even start to sell anything. So I'm sure, like I say, I'm a big believer in. I like to wait and see what the progress is year by year, and I know everybody wants things to happen now, but sometimes it can't, and you've got to understand the bigger picture of things, and there's things happening behind the scenes that don't allow you to do certain things. And I'm sure, some of the food stalls and the coffee stalls and things like that, hopefully they're given the opportunity to provide some feedback and turn around and say, I'd be so much better if we were situated here or there, because it gives us an opportunity to attract more sort of audience or whatever that is. But yeah, time will tell. But for me, from what I saw, generally pretty good. The entrance fee, people don't want to pay it, they don't go in. Simple as that, really, isn't it?
Do you think if they did revert back to 2 qualifiers, obviously have double your number of players, so you know yourself, you get knocked out, you'll stop down for a day, you maybe stop down for 2 days for what you've booked up, so you are going to get more footfall coming through. So by having a lower admission fee, you might balance it out.
Then you throw into the mix the fact that there's more people down there, which then restricts green time, which then causes more clashes, which is a big bugbear of a lot of people. So it's like that catch-22 situation, isn't it?
Aye.
It's like I'd have a championships that goes on for 30 days, which is a long old chunk of time to run those things. And then you make sure that nothing clashes with anything and everybody gets to play on what they want to play on, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't think they're doing it on purpose. It's just they've got to fit it in somehow. So
I think they're doing a decent job, like myself personally. But
yeah, I mean, I hate the fact of thinking that somebody's qualified all season to get down to a particular tournament and then can't play in it because
you've got to choose
something else.
You've got to choose. I think team wise, there's possibly you get a little bit leeway for team wise because you've got to you generally run on a squad, don't you? For all you want your strongest squad on. I think individual events like pairs, triples and fours, then I think they should be able to play in if they've qualified more than one and not have to choose, well, I've got to play and I've got to get a sub here type of thing.
To be fair to Bowls England, they are very, very strict throughout the season on the basis of there is no illegal dates that you can offer for a top club or a double fours or whatever it is, because it's a team event and you've got to utilise everybody who's available for a particular time. So there's never a case of you can't offer that because it's a Middleton date, or you can't offer that because hopefully a lot of clubs understand that players will be missing or whatever and try to accommodate.
Yeah.
But there's nothing turning around and stopping you saying that's the date. I don't care whether you've got 10 players missing. That's what it's for. It's a club event. It's a team event. So if that happens down there, then it's no different to what it is in the early rounds.
There's one thing that would be interesting if there's anybody from Bowls England listens to the podcast. It would just be interesting if we could find out what gate receipts actually get for the championship, so people are aware. Well, this is the income that comes in. This pays for the live stream. And I think if you don't disclose, well, we get 20 grand in gate receipts or whatever, then people are more likely to take on board. Oh, well, I can understand why you only get streaming for 2 days or 3 days because it's costing you 6 grand to do it. But
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they've ever done that. Anyway, onto the green. I have to big pat on the back for Ed Morris, mate, taking the singles.
Yeah.
Especially after missing out in the Commonwealth Games. I think that must have been a kick in the nads, missing that out, and he could have quite easily took his toys home and went away. But obviously he's not built like that, and he's come on and won his second singles title.
Definitely, he's just a great player, and there'll always be arguments for and against as to who gets into teams. But there is only 5 spots to pick from the country, and people will always justify he should be in because he's won all of this. But then other people will argue about the fact that he should be in because potentially people psychologically think, Christ, we've got a game on here before they've even walked on because of the calibre of the player that's played on there. And selectors will always get criticism, and you can only do what you do and pick what you think's right. Ed's come back, and the only thing you can ever do is prove that should have been my spot. And from his point of view, he's got Australia coming up in 4 years' time, and he started his 4-year cycle off on a top note. Continues that for the next 2 or 3 years, then for me, I've got no doubt he's going to be kicking there or thereabouts again, if not a solid base in the team. Yeah, great for him.
And well done to Mr. Tolshard again. He keeps winning, mate. 2-ball.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I phoned him, because I knew he'd be disappointed after the Commonwealth Games. I mean, the goals obviously eluding him. And I knew he'd be disappointed, and I phoned him, and he said he was, and I hope he doesn't mind. Is obviously saying he took a bit of time out, and he didn't want to look at another ball, and he was like, I'm only there in the 2-ball. I've got to go up there, and I won't have played for a while, and I says, well, I'll still have me 50 pence on you. He says, well, you're chucking your 50 pence away. I went, whatever, we'll see. So then he walks up there, he racks in the 2-ball national title again. I sent him a message and says, aye, whatever. I says, me 50 pence was safe. And he's just a class player, mate. My opinion of him, he's just an absolute tremendous player. And there's nobody who would have loved more than for me to watch him get that goal. I sort of look at him and he's a bit like Jimmy White. close to it. He's got the ability, but it's just not quite falling in place. Great stuff.
He'd probably play worse and win one, mate.
Or he'll get a wick off one 6 foot wide or something, and
he played for. Like nominated. Boltley, I nominated that. Anyway, there is apparently going to be a review into the national championships. I've read somewhere that John Cockcroft has said that there will be a review undertaken. Some of the main gripe, the Sutton Winson tournament for under 16s, that never took place. So I think there were a few people put out with that. Obviously, a number of qualifications. This one's, I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching my head as we speak here. The new regional finals, getting a lot of criticism because a lot of people saying, it's an extra travel and it's sort of like it's an extra round that they didn't expect to play. But the new regional finals only came about from feedback from all the counties. So are the counties not talking to the players? Are the players not talking to the counties who don't want the regional finals? They want to qualify down to the last 32, which I think was the last 16 now, so there was an extra round. For instance, I think one of the qualifier round, the mixed fours, there was a Nottingham squad that had to travel up to Blackhall. They weren't happy about coming up. My response to them was, well, if it was the other way around, anybody from Durham would have to go down to Nottingham to play the regional final down there. So
a lot of people forget that Bowls England is made up of the counties. The counties are the ones that make the decisions within Bowls England. It's not always the top that make those decisions, and people need to remember that. And a lot of the things that happen generally come from democracy from the counties across the country.
Right, it's rolling into October, and the PBAs, the qualifiers are with us. If you've seen any of our live streaming, we were up at Stanley for 2 days, live streaming the Scottish and the World Open singles qualifiers. It was 2 cracking days. Congratulations to Jack Bird on the Saturday, which was the Scottish one. I thought he was tremendous, mate. I think he played the ball of the day against you in the tie break when you were lying the 3. But also congratulations to you, mate. Hop along. Rusty Bolt, apparently, now, with that screw in your foot.
Aye, Rusty, my new nickname.
Yeah, on qualifying for the World Singles again, mate. You repeated last year's feat. You must have been absolutely delighted, mate, the way it went.
I was, and like we said, I haven't mentioned it much, but obviously with my foot. It was just a weird scenario, and you'll remember this yourself because Saturday played Jack in that semi-final, and to be fair, played Gary Farquhar in the quarter-final again before that, and I was just starting to get sort of to the end of my tether as far as having not played for 8-9 weeks. Obviously, my muscles and everything were aching that year. It's like that Christmas period, isn't it? You have 2 weeks off over the Christmas, and you go back and play a league game, and you're aching the next day. Gary was the better player on that quarter-final on the Saturday, and I managed to get a good start and then nick him in the tie-break. Jack was the better player, but I managed to nick a set, and again, could have had probably played my best end in the tie-breaker, and like I say, that ball he played an absolute smoker. And then I missed on the second end, I think it was by about 2 inches trying to draw the shot. Cracking final, I thought, against him and Mark. I'd said to you on the Sunday morning, I genuinely thought I was going to wake up, and I thought, I was joking, and I was going to need a wheelchair, and I genuinely thought somebody's going to have to push me up this green because I was shot at Saturday night, and woke up Sunday, and I know when I turned up at 8 o'clock-ish or whatever it was, and I'd said to you, didn't I? I says, don't know why, I says, but I feel pretty good, and then played some really good stuff all day. To be fair, I think the semi-final, after we had the minute silence, I lost a bit of pace or whatever it was, and was a bit scratchy in that game. But thankfully, saved me best for the final and played some good stuff. And as long as I kept moving on that day, I was all right.
Yeah.
As soon as I stopped, I mean, that minute silence, I was crying. I was like, please. This minute felt like it genuinely felt like about 20 minutes. I felt my hamstrings tightening up. I felt my calves tightening up. I was like, I can't start jogging on the spot when I'm blooming having a minute silence for the Queen. So that was it was a welcome relief once that was done. But full credit to Josh Halkrow as well. I mean, Josh, who I played in the final, young lad, 24-year-old, he's come on leaps and bounds over the last few years. Touching back to Leamington, where he played really well for the national double fours win as well. Big future for Josh, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was nice because there seemed as if there was quite a few new faces. It took the punt, paying the money and having a crack at it.
Definitely, and quite a few regular faces that potentially weren't there as well. So whether it was clashing with something or whatever, but yeah, there was a few that are going to be at Carlisle that weren't at Stanley.
Yeah.
Whether it was the time of the season, because it was pretty much the first of the indoors, which we mentioned, and you could see people were still a little bit scratchy at times coming from outdoors. But I think the qualifiers are in absolute rude health. Looking across it, and everybody seemed to enjoy it.
I think the PBAs are back to where they were a few years ago now, aren't they? Because you've got more events, more chances and what have you, and it's got to be full credit to the whole of the PBA team.
I personally, Richie, think the PBAs are in the best position they've ever been, because you're not restricted to just playing in one now. So you don't just play that one game and that's it. Your season's over if you don't qualify. If you're prepared to pay the money and you're prepared to do the travel, you can go in as many as you want, which gives you multiple opportunities. And there's quite a few people doing that. And there just seems to be a newfound little bit of a buzz about the qualifiers again. And I think we talk about the team behind it, and obviously Jason, the tournament director, and the team behind him, to be creating the opportunities that they are now for the ranking tournaments with the potential for more to come, can only be a good thing. Really good thing. And it's that little stepping stone, I think, isn't it, between people who'll go down the national route where you can win a national title, but this is your opportunity to take your chance and potentially get onto the TV.
Yeah.
And anybody can do it.
Now, as everybody will know, we did stream both events in our own laid-back style, which is, some people like it, some people don't, but hey, that's the way I like to do it. There was a good highlight while you were on the green, mate. Mr. Parkinson was our co-commentator with us, and you know, the two of us, when you buzzing, we nailed this intro. We're having a bit cracking away for 15 minutes. We're great. And then I realised I hadn't hit the live button. You're talking to ourselves. Jason just looked at me and says, amateur.
I'm sure you can be forgiven for a little mistake, mate. You did a fantastic job again, and it's well received. And like you say, we don't know. I've got no doubt there'll be people out there going, for God's sake, I wish these two would shut up, or whoever we've got on there. But in the main, we've never seen it yet. I've never seen somebody come on and say, I wish you two just shut up.
Shut up. I might type it myself. I wish you would shut up.
But it's the same, and I always say it's the same as what we said from the podcast from the very, very first day. You like it? Great. You done it. Just didn't listen.
Turn it off. Simple as that, mate. Right. It's always nice to get a bit of exposure on the telly, mate. I always say any publicity is good publicity. And we did get a little 10-15-minute segment on Channel 4's new show called Hobbyman with Alex Brooker, and the in-between is Joe Thomas.
Yep.
And it featured series Yaz Hassan. I thought it came across better than Sky's League of Their Own effort, because I thought that was more of a Mickey take when they came on with the uniforms on, the jackets and the flat caps. I thought it was a bit of a Mickey take, but I thought Yaz done a good job. I thought it came across well, mate.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, I agree with you on the other one. It was exposure for the sport, but it was a little bit of fun around the stereotype, which doesn't help us in any shape or form. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I think I would like to think that off the back of the exploits of the Commonwealth Games and some of the games that were shown on the early morning slots, maybe it is starting to be looked at in a slightly different light by TV. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Fair play to the two stars of it. They went into it, and there was no stereotype work from them, was there? There's no old man's marbles and all that malarkey. They got in and then seemed to enjoy it. So
yeah, which most people do.
Yeah, which most people do once they get the famous Mr. Bolt's hook. isn't it? Once you get the hook, that's it. You're into it. It was good for the sport, that one.
Yeah.
Right, mate. Here's a one from left field for you. Here's a question for you. Do you think the love of outdoor bowls is starting to be questioned due to the below par playing surfaces that people are having to play on? And will this lead to more people playing indoors 12 months of the year?
Well, I certainly think it's a massive factor now. I think we're contributing to our own downfall in a lot of respects by, I've said it for years, I'm sure I've said it on a podcast before, playing with what we play with. I play with stuff that doesn't do a lot because you're at a disadvantage if you try to play with something that is proper balls outdoors because you're using grass that hasn't been used. I would say comfortably 50-60% of our greens aren't even being touched through a season unless you rotate your green because you're channeling up 6, 7, 8 inches in a lot of respects on a lot of the greens. You can understand why the councils especially with cost of living and cuts and things like that, the council basically will only put bare minimum into it. A lot of clubs are now having to be self-maintained and they haven't got the expertise to be able to get the greens up to the standard they used to be.
Do you know if there's courses for clubs for green maintenance? Give them advice, or
there's Bowls England is part of your affiliation fee. We talk about affiliation fee all the time. As part of your affiliation fee, there is a greens expert who you can contact, and basically, as far as I'm aware, will come up with your greens and have a look and do a report on your greens, which I think potentially is maybe needed. But it's like I say, it's an art form for me. I always remember one of my great mates when I first started playing bowls, and you'll remember him yourself, Brian Collins, used to work for the garden department, and just in his spare time used to look after Thorny Close Green, which was an absolute mitten of a green. And on his dinner time, he used to go down and he used to look after it, but he knew bowling greens like the back of his hand. And he turned that green within 2 seasons from a cabbage patch to something that was really nice to play on. Unfortunately, I just think unless you've got the money to pay somebody who's got that expertise, you're just relying on council gardeners now. And all they want to do is turn out something that looks nice for people to walk past and go on. And I'm part of an organisation in Silksworth where our like the Friends of the Park, and it's a group of organisations in the village, brought it up, and they give us a bit of a nasty look because I turned around and I says, our green is absolutely atrocious, and I says, we need something sorted with it. They turned around and went, green's absolutely perfection. I would love a garden like that. And I says, well, that's great if you've got a garden, but what you need to understand is it's not about what it looks like. It's got to play well from our point of view. We are starting to see a lot of players just turning around and saying, I can't do this anymore. And bearing in mind the demographic of our sport, which is the higher end age, even fit bowlers are struggling to get the balls 3/4 up the green, man. It's like heavy as lead. And it's sad to see in a lot of respects because it is. You might as well just go and chuck them up the park now.
I mean, some of the images you see on social media of the bowling greens, you look and you're going, my giddy aunt, man, I wouldn't plant tatties on it.
I mean, I heard comments down at Leamington about the greens are tricky as anything, and they are like really nice running surfaces, really beautifully maintained running surfaces. Outdoor bowls has always been tricky. I don't know where people's memories have gone, where they think that years ago, everything you played on was like playing indoors with 2 true hands. It's never, ever been like that. That's the interesting part of what outdoor bowls is all about. It's affected by the run of the way the green is. And just replaced all of the greens, and obviously they're playing very similar to what they used to. But because that's how the land lies. You cannot change that type of thing because all you're doing is just putting the same thing over the way the land is. So it's probably just going to pick up the same quirks. I think people are either just starting to get to the point where they're trying to remember the good old days where they think that the greens were fantastic, but they forget about the fact that we all used to play with bigger swinging balls back then. So it was a bit more of an art form. We mentioned, I think, when we were up at Stanley, about me and Jason, I think, was talking about the greens in New Zealand, where you're watching Alcock and Bryan playing in the World Pairs or something, and they were chucking a ball out, and they might as well have gone and made themselves a cup of coffee and had a Kit Kat and come back, and the ball will have just been coming back to their jack, So it is what it is. Hopefully, again, it's all about money into the sport, and if it's channeled in the right directions, we probably need some sort of a focus on maintenance of greens and trying to get them up to standard in certain areas. And I think councils need to come together and listen to the main man from Bowls England and get their gardeners on these courses and get a certificate for green maintenance or whatever it is and get them up to a level. But I think unless that happens, they're just going to get worse and worse and worse.
I think it all comes down to... for years, I think it all comes down to budget, mate, at the end of the year, especially council greens. I think...
Well, me and you have been lucky over the years, and we can both hold our hands up and say for 2 council greens, Silks Roker Marine, have always over the years been 2 of the greens you love to go and play on. Even now, we're both complaining about our own greens. I cannot stand playing on my own home green now.
Well, that was just like corrugated iron after what they'd done, but never mind, never mind. Right, mate. Just before we wrap up show 43, we've been on the road, 3-day road trip, West Denton and a couple of days in Carlisle. The West Denton was for the under-25s. Special mention to Nicole Rogers, mate.
She played really, really well, didn't she? I was only there half a day because of work, but I saw her first game and I watched her first set and she struggled. I think she got comfortably beat, but crikey, it's like a machine after that, from what I heard and what I saw. Absolutely tremendous.
Outstanding. A couple of quick mentions to Ollie Sloan, who got to the final, and young Charlie Beaton, mate, who watched. I don't know whether you were there when he played Shot of the Day.
I saw your video clip, but I wasn't there to see it in person. But I was some ball.
There was there was odd little comment on the live stream about the date because it was getting played in school time. I think the proof was in the pudding, mate. Both events, because there was one taking place at Frith, which Darren Weir won, and the combined entries were twice as many as what they got at Stanley. So proof was in the pudding, mate.
I mean, it's a valid point, and it's something. Obviously, the feedback will always be taken, but at the same time, there's a lot of the under-25s will not think twice about going representing the country on a Thursday, Friday outdoors and things like that. So just one of those things.
Plus, of course, both the international series were at each event the following day, weren't they? So
that was part of Jason's thinking as well. I think it was give people an opportunity who were going to be playing in that series to go up and actually have a bit of time on the green as well. So it was combined with that. So valid point. Certainly not one we can discount, but kind of please everybody all of the time, as you say.
No, and then we packed up and we went to Carlisle. Streamed 2 days at Carlisle. The Worlds on the Saturday. Stewie Irwin, who was I thought tremendous. His game against Martin Corley got out of jail 3 times, mate. He played 3 cracking balls, didn't he?
All right.
The semi-final, wasn't it?
Now our bum twitching episode in the final.
Oh, hey, never mind EastEnders, mate. Dun, 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 dun. Will the iPad cut off or will it not? The number of people who were on the edge of the seats creased. If this goes off, I'm in my car. I'm heading to Carlisle to get these 2.
It's tremendous. It's nice to see the messages because we had well over 200 watching as well on it. So it was nice. It was nice that people were obviously up to watch the final, and it was just, in some respects, it just sort of made the climax of the final even better, like, because it was.
I mean, for all it finished at 11:15 at night, it was sort of like I've never been lathered or stressed out. Well, I say that a little bit later, I'll be a little bit lathered and stressed out. But no, that was just tremendous, mate. Absolutely tremendous. Was that the day that you came up with the old Walt Disney movies?
Oh no, I was just about to say it took a little bit longer because Stewie must have been thinking, was that Colin Banks on Mary Poppins? Or that was the following day, mate.
All right. Anyway, right, following day, 24 hours later, or 6 hours sleep later, it was the Scottish Open. John McHutchinson.
John McHutchison,
I got wrong off for spelling his name wrong. I'll tell you what, his first set in the semi-final, I thought was just poetry in motion, mate. He was absolutely fantastic.
Well, I was driving back at that point because I think I was down at Lincoln the next day, wasn't I? So I'd had to miss that, but obviously the signal coming back from Carlisle wasn't good, and obviously I would never ever watch a video in the car while I was driving. No. But I did see the comments. I mean, John, obviously, I was over the moon for John as well because I think he's lost the last 2 World Qualifier finals. One, I'll not mention the one.
Not mention the one who beat him. No,
switch off. But I think he lost against Darren Weir.
Yeah,
he was in that final, was he?
Yeah.
So he got over the line, and looking at the comments, they said he was outstanding.
Oh, he was tremendous. That first set in the semi-final against Colin Banks, and even the final against Trevor. I mean, fair play to Trevor, who's struggled on with a bad back for 2 days. To last to the final day, he just great. He done really well. I've doff me cap to Trevor, like. But of course, the good news for you, mate, you didn't have to play in the Scottish Open qualify because you got the place in the actual event.
A weird phone call, actually, because obviously I got the call and the new ranking list that was set up last year to coincide with all of the new events and everything that had changed with the PBA. So it was decided that it needed a whole new revamp, and basically went to the AGM, and it was all put in place. So because of my qualification and a couple of performances and other things last year, I was sitting top of the pile. And I had no idea. Tied with Gary on 125 points, I think. But obviously, to separate that, the constitution of it is that it obviously reverts back to, if there's tied points, it reverts back to the World Championships from the previous years. But that's obviously the highest ranked competition, so they look at whoever's gone the furthest on that. And I would imagine, I don't know if it's tied on that one as well, it goes to something else. But as it all turned out, it gave us obviously the opportunity to replace South Africa, was it?
Yes, South Africa, yeah.
South Africa, who dropped out. So I managed to get that spot. But obviously, with me sort of involvement with what we do with the podcast and myself and the PBA side of things, I was like, oh, for Christ, I hope this is in black and white, because I said I didn't want anybody starting again.
Baldy out!
Baldy's getting the old golden envelope here. A little bit of a back scratch of the old Mason's handshake. But no, like I say, to be fair, I've been part of the PBA for, I think, since its introduction, and I've never sort of had an opportunity to get into an event without having to qualify. So it's a nice thing, like, and
yeah.
Nice little easy tie against Stewie Anderson. I mean, yeah, up in Scotland, against Stewie Anderson, it's going to be a breeze, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's not going to be a partisan. It's not going to be a partisan crowd at all, is it?
I'm going to wear me blue and white and aero top, like, so I fit in. So I'll be all right.
And keep saying, "Hoots man, where's me heat?"
Hoots man, something like
that. Right, and we got the rickshaw out there not so long ago, and we headed down to Huntingdon.
You certainly did. I didn't.
The ladies' world match play qualifier. We thought, I had the choice to go to Hartlepool and Huntingdon. Driving back at 12 o'clock at night, I was thinking, maybe should have went to Hartlepool after the way the day went. Never mind. Again, Nicole Rogers, fantastic, mate, fantastic.
It was funny because I was talking to Brian Henderson, who'd down at Hartlepool, and he'd obviously lost to Nicole and said she was just amazing. He says she absolutely wiped the floor with us. And so he says, after you put the mockers on us, because I'd tipped Brian, obviously, potentially get to the final. The two of them went out pretty sharpish, but I says, well, I'm going to put the mockers on again. I says, because if Nicole plays the way she's played up here, she's going to take some beating. And then, obviously, you let us know I hadn't seen it. You let us know on the way back when we were having a chat that she qualified. So, she's in 3 now, and she's playing with Nikki Brett in the mixed pairs.
Qualifies in the mixed
pairs.
Through
in the 25s and through in the ladies singles. So, top work.
It was funny because before they went on, Jason before the event started, Jason mentioned, the winner of this will also go in the mixed pairs. And Chloe Brett was due to go on ring 6. And he says, the partner will be the partner of Nikki Brett. And I'm not going over to Chloe. Chloe got, oh, God, really?
If I didn't see enough of them.
God, really? But if anybody watched the streaming, well done, because there wasn't a great deal of it. It was horrific. I was stressed to my tether. I was with that
mate,
Wi-Fi.
honestly, I mean, through the laughter and through the tears, sitting down in Hartlepool, seeing the stress that you were under, honestly, I felt for you. I really felt for you.
Yeah, right. You know what it is? That the first game, Sean was playing Nicole, actually.
Yeah.
And it started off Gary. Well, Nicole got off to a fly, and then the Wi-Fi went. The only one that was happy that the Wi-Fi went was Sean. When I told her, she says, so you didn't get that first set? I says, no, just kicked you in. But God, I tried absolutely. We had the router on the fire door. It done my nethering. And then JP caps it all off yesterday. I just Bluetooth his bloody BMW parked out the front, and he's got a little bit signal. I'm going, that'll be right.
You know what it is, mate? I think it just highlights something yet again, which we see a lot on social media. The amount of people who are going, this should be streamed, that should be streamed. Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? I think this needs to, I think people within clubs need to be speaking to the committees of clubs and turning around and saying, what's the Wi-Fi thing that we've got here so that we can do this type of thing? Because there's, I genuinely, I'm joking on that. I was chuckling on. Said,
you were, because you kept texting, you kept winning.
I says, you know what it is? I says, I felt for you because it's a long way to go down there to then have the frustration of just not being able to do what you want to do. And thankfully, I think a lot of people understand it's not a reflection on us because we can only do what we can do, and people have seen what we can do. But It's if clubs want this type of thing, then they're going to have to, for what it costs, have a serious look at getting a system in place where the Wi-Fi is strong through the whole club. Like, even if they keep that one separate to everything else, let the clubs have a lower scale Wi-Fi, but keep a really high one.
Carlisle had that, and Stanley.
They did,
Stanley, you've got separate ones as well. Yeah, but of course you were busy while I was getting stressed out. You were down Hartlepool in the open pairs qualifier.
And I wasn't getting stressed out, mate, because Hartley was just rolling balls next to Jack all the time. I was just putting blockers in and putting cover in. It was class. But, it was good, mate. I mean, I was running the competition as well. I know Paul, when he found out that I was running the competition, I think he was thinking, I'm gonna be like here, there, and everywhere trying to sort it out. But it absolutely just went to clockwork. Yes, keeping the results updated on the spreadsheet, which Jason sent across, and all I tried to do was, luckily we were always tending to get off before the people were coming off, so I was getting all the scores updated before the next round. And you'll be amazed at this, because I was actually organised enough to have a pile for every section of cards that I needed for each time and all. I mean, bear in mind that my admin is not my strength. It absolutely flew through, and then obviously the two of us just clicked all day, and we played some really good stuff.
I think it's the first time Paul's qualified for Potters.
He's been in 6 finals. He's never qualified for Potters. He's been in 6 finals, so it was there was a little tear in his eye when we managed to get through. Like, which it's the hardest thing in the world, you know. Now, I've spoken to a couple of lads who have obviously made finals, and once you get over that first one, it makes the next one so much easier, because you've been there and you've done it.
Yeah.
But when it's such a big thing to get there, the pressure that people must be under playing in them games. It was nice, it was just nice to get.
You know what it is? The tear in his eye wasn't the fact that he's qualified. The tear in his eye was just joy that I can get into that buffet and all day breakfast and everything.
I think the tear in his eye, mate, must have been when he ran up and gave us a high five. I must have stood on his toe, I think.
Anyway, there was 3 stories, 3 tales from my Huntingdon trip. We managed to get Nicky Brett in to come in and do the commentary on the semi-final. Well, I say semi-final, but we sat there, me, Nicky, Jason, commentating away. Now in 70 minutes, 70 was great, fantastic. Gillian, loads of questions, and Nicky, loads of good answers. And then I'm looking at the laptop, I'm looking at the iPad going, I'm sure the words REC supposed to be on their record. Sure, I hadn't hit record.
Now, I'm not one to drop you in it, right?
No,
but bear in mind that you did the same thing at Stanley,
and
then followed it up and did the same thing, I believe, at Carlisle. Then now you've done it at Huntingdon, and then just before we were due to record this podcast, I had to ask you, have you pressed record? And you hadn't.
You dropped the scene. So when I was sitting there, look, I've got two minutes left. Should I tell them or not? Should I? I'm just going to let them finish. And then, best of it was, for the final, we'll start the recording of the final. I say recording inverted commas again because I had it on mute and I owned up. So I had me. Oh, Jesus. And the other one was, right, I said, I'll make myself a checklist. So everything I need to do for this live stream, and introduce, hit record. Now I need to do a checklist to make sure I check the checklist. I just despair, but I'm just getting senile, I think.
Mr. Traveling down to Lincoln last night, Mr. Hartley thinks I'm a right saddle, because we talked about earlier on there. I played the commentary from your mate Anthony Booth Lloyd, also known as Young, against Colin Banks. I played that, and honestly, if anybody wants a laugh, from about 11 minutes to 30 minutes, there's 19 minutes in there. I've listened to it 5 times, and I was saying to Paul, it's strange because we do the commentary, and it's not, there's no script or anything like that, and we didn't, we don't necessarily have to go along the whole let's talk about balls line. So a lot of the stuff that we'll come out with, and I'll listen back to it, it's quite new, because I just think, where on earth does that come from? And I was laughing my head off when I turned around and says, Colin Banks, was that the dad in Mary Poppins? And you just went, what a question that is. Where on earth has that question come? And then for about 19 minutes after that, when everybody's joining in and talking about Disney films and all that, man, honestly, I was just laughing my head off again. He thinks I'm sad, like laughing at myself. But that's what I love about the commentary. Like it's just class.
It's great. I mind you, there is now going to be a rule invoked on the commentary box. Jason's not allowed to eat his nuts, and Gillian's not allowed to eat cheesy Wotsits because apparently there was interference on the quarterfinal. We had a complaint. Turn the sound off because of the crunching.
Nothing worse. I must admit, I'm always conscious of that. Even when I take a drink, I cover the microphone up. So I've got to agree with everybody listening there. Like that would do my head in.
He had his dried roasted nuts, mate, and he was munching away.
Did he have his spreadsheet about how to open up his bag of nuts and all? Correct? No, we must have gone through 43 spreadsheets on that car.
But we did have a wine incident as well before we go. I said something and he spat his wine all over the monitor. How come what you doing? But no, the PBA is going great, mate. Full marks to Jason. The time, we've said it before, everybody said it before, and Jacqueline Henderson, great, sponsoring the women's events. I was gutted because the semi-final that we didn't record was Jacqueline. Jacqueline was playing. So.
She did very well, and like I say, I totally agree. And I said it on social media recently as well. I mean, she's thanking and praising everybody else, but she's unbelievable for this sport, and half of this stuff wouldn't even happen without the support that she's been given as far as sponsorship and things like that. So full credit to Jackie and the Link to Succeed brand for what she brings.
Well, after 15 hours of live streaming, here is that random question.
Colin Banks, was that the name of the dad in Mary Poppins? It's a bit of a raw question. Where did that come from?
It's the one remaining.
What made you come to there? Like?
The one remaining brain cell I've got left working. It's actually just come up with Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. What's she getting that from?
I looked at my wallet and all I've got left is tuppence.
half sixpence. What a very random question that is.
I got an answer.
I bet you do with all these answers. Come on, folks.
And the lad was right. We did get it answered.
George Banks.
Yeah.
We knew Jason it.
Spoil the fun.
Knew Jason it.
I had about 19 Mary Poppins puns coming up there. Just a spoonful of sugar would have got a that shot. I'll go fly a kite, Jason. I do birthdays, christenings, bar mitzvahs.
One down. The front one.
Same with me. That was my aim. Did I hear you say pharmacist?
Oh, yeah. Parkinson's quote were a link. Just to confirm it's George Banks. I wish you would do one. My patience is very thin.
I'm guessing the stream's okay, it's just the commentary that's cropped now. I'm surprised I haven't gotten that one back.
Plummeted new depths now.
The Disney Hour, folks, if you've turned on.
Parkinson hadn't stolen me thunder. I was waiting for Colin to play a really good end. I was going to say that was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And he killed it.
Killed.
Scott Morland says 1 point for every Disney movie we can bring into the commentary. Challenge accepted.
And things just went downhill from there.
Thankfully, it looks like the buffering sorted itself out, because I do believe the screen was frozen at 1 point. 1 point of what? Great opening ball from Colin. Was yours frozen too?
That's more shot.
2 points to 1. Give away. Give away.
Thank you.
Get 102 people watching him on series game of balls on. England International, but he's was marketing fella and whatever you
We've been here for 97 hours, man.
Disney themes at this time of night.
Well, I'm having fun. I'm glad I can't.
Okay, Colin, you'll be happy about that. I don't think you'll be grumpy or sleepy.
Sure up, don't me.
Oh, stop being bashful, man.
There.
We'll be escorted out now. You have to leave the premises. How many dwarfs do we down there?
So you don't get the points for each.
Right, mate, there we go. Show number 43, short and sweet. Just the two of us, putting the world to rights as usual. And before we go, there's one thing that I'd like to fetch up. I watched you might have seen it, the women's cricket, India against England the other day, and India did the old man kid.
I saw that.
Man kid, which is not illegal, nothing in the rules to say you can't do it, but sportsman-wise, I don't think it's very sporting. So, thinking about bowls-wise, what would be the equivalent, mate? Time wasting would be the one that came to me, where you know for a fact time's running down, you're playing the clock, and your opponent walks up the green, does the old feather stare around the head, has a bit chat about, oh, well, I think I might play this. Oh, well, what do you think? What do you think? Oh, there's the buzzer going. Right, thanks very much. See you later. That would be probably the only one that I think of bowls, mate.
That's the equivalent, or technically, there's nothing stopping somebody stepping over the head and kicking a ball that's well, close to playing the shot that wants to be played, and the ball's got to be replayed. There's no punishment in place to turn around and say that player has to be banned from the game or removed from the green. So technically, if something was coming close and they were going to try and kill the end, somebody walks over and kicks the ball. I might be wrong. I don't know if there is a legal rule in place to say what would happen in that scenario.
You'd be all stunned, mate, wouldn't you? See, ball coming down, Davy Ball runs out, hoofs it off the park, and then he's off 6 weeks with a broken foot.
And it was against Farquhar, and then 2 minutes later you just see you spark out on the green.
Bird's eye. What day is it? What day is it? Anyway, mate, that's it. Show number 43 overdone with. And we hope you enjoy it, folks. Short and sweet. Keep an eye out for some more live streaming coming up. And we'll see you soon.
Will do.
Thank you for listening and hope you've enjoyed the show.
This has been a Dodgy production.